Your money in the bank does not make enough. How much does it make? Not enough. All right. I love that. Okay. Can I use it?
You sure can. Sharing is caring.
Thank you, Cari. All right. So here's what we're talking about. So it's not making enough. All right. It's not making enough money. Maybe 1/10 of 1%. All right. So let's take a look at this loan here. I'm going back to payment number one. Payment number one. All right. 1 through 12. So we have on here in the first year, Cari, and cumulative principal, that's all the principal payments, $6,716.99. All right. Do you know how we get to this number? We get to this number by making principal payments, 12 of them right in a row on time. We add up the principal payments for 1 year and it comes to $6,716.99. That's how much we paid the loan down by. And that is how much we have in our principal payments. Okay. But look at the interest. How much interest we're paying each month. We're adding that up too. And it comes to $12,142.93. So what we're looking at is the P.I.L.L. in the ICE BRRRR method. How can we get the $6,700 in principal pay down without giving the bank the $12,000 they're looking for? All right. But I can't use the money that I've earmarked for investing because that money's working. All right. It's already doing its thing. Let's see how we can use the $25,000 sitting in the bank making what? Not enough. Oh, I love that. Oh, I'm serious. Somebody write that down for me so I don't forget. All right.
I got you.
Okay. So here's my question. Could I borrow from that $25,000 fund $6,716.99?
Yes.
If I could borrow that, okay? So now, anytime you borrow something, there's always a cost, all right? No matter what, even if it's 0% interest, there's always a cost somewhere. You just have to find out what the cost is, all right? There's always a cost. So in this case, if I borrow that money from myself, then the cost is I am not making 1/10 of 1% on this money, okay? So the cost is fairly low. Correct?
Yes.
All right. Now there's an additional cost. You know what the additional cost is?
You're not paying that cumulative interest of $12,000.
That's a benefit. I'm talking about cost. The money sitting in the bank, there's an additional cost. You know what it is?
No.
It's what that money could be making.
Oh, understood.
But it's not making.
Right.
So here's what I'm saying. The money that you could make that you didn't make should be considered a loss. The money that you could make that you didn't make should be considered a loss. So that money sitting in the bank, it's almost as if we're burying it in the sand. It's just kind of buried there. It's not making anything. I feel good about the fact that it's there. You know, I've got it just in case something happens. And I'm easily forgetting about that. Now, why? Because my properties are cash flowing well.
Yeah.
I'm making money and I'm investing more money, but this money's still sitting over here on the side, not making hardly anything at all. So what if we borrow that money from the fund and apply this money all at one time on line one? Let me put the calculator on the screen because we started out at what? $350,000?
Yes.
$350,000. And if we paid this $6,716 all at one time instead of in 12 monthly installments, so we're going to subtract $6,716.99. We're going to subtract that, and we get $343,283.01. Isn't that the same thing that's on line 12 here?
Yes.
So you mean we could borrow money from our reserve account that's making not enough money and apply it to this loan in 1 month instead of over 12 months and get here in 1 month? What would happen to all the interest costs between line 2 and line 12?
And fall off.
You never have to pay them. So here's what's happening, folks. We're moving this loan from point A to point B. Point A to point B. Point A is $350,000. Point B is $343,283. That's what's important, not the months you see here, not the schedule, but moving the loan from point A to point B. Doing it the bank's way, you have to submit to their timing. When you submit to the bank's timing, then they're saying monthly, I want you to pay me. And every month, I need you to give me over $1,000 just to pay your loan down by a little over $550. That's the bank's timing. Do we like their timing, Cari?
No.
No, we don't like their timing. What if we want to incorporate our own timing? So listen, you have your right to $6,716.99 because I borrowed it. But I want to disrupt your timing. I want to give it to you in 1 month instead of over 12. If I do, I move from here to here in 1 month. The bank never sees this one, the payment on line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5. It never sees those payments, so they can't charge you interest on those because you didn't do it on their schedule. So you disrupted their timing and paid it down to here in 1 month. So what is the interest cost for 1 month? $1,020.83. So you move the loan from point A to point B for $1,020.83 instead of $12,142.93.
Mm-hmm.
So I have my equity now. It didn't cost me 12 grand. It did cost me something. It cost me 1,000, but it didn't cost me 12. Are you seeing what we're talking about now?
Yes.
So now I've got a couple of more questions for you. So give me an idea of the rents that are coming in and how long, if we're just looking at the amounts that are going into the reserve fund, how long could it take to pay myself back? Not out of the money we have earmarked for investing, but out of the money that we have earmarked to go into the reserve fund. How much time would it take to pay ourselves back the $6,700? What do you think? Give me an idea.
2 months.
2 months. So it takes 2 months to pay ourselves back. Oh, Lord, have mercy. I am loving this example, Miss Cari. Listen, I'm just going to play this back all day just because you're here. I want to listen to this. Okay? 2 months. I'm going to pay myself back in 2 months. Okay? So, Miss Cari, I'm going to pay the money back to which account? To that account that's not paying not enough?
Right.
And could I do it again?
Yes.
And then 2 months more, I could do it again. So do you see, Miss Cari, if I can knock down this in just 2 months, you see how we can leapfrog through this thing in just a few months and get down to our $100,000 point, boom, in about 4 years instead of over 12. And it won't cost near as much because every time we leapfrog this thing, we're leapfrogging right over interest costs. So the ICE BRRRR method says, yes, the BRRRR method works. But when we plug the ICE into it, Interest Cancellation Expert, when we plug that into it, we get to that $100,000 point years sooner at a much lower interest cost. Let's call that right around, I don't know, $22,000. Just guess it. Instead of $129,000.
Right.
Now, here's the next thing. Okay, you want to write this down, Miss Cari. Here's the next thing.
Okay.
Let's just call it 29,000. It cost us 29,000 to get to this point instead of 129,000. That means it would normally cost $100,000, over $129,000 to get to this point, but we got here in $29,000. So we just saved ourselves $100,000, haven't we? To get to the same point. At some point, could we, keeping track of the interest we saved, could we actually put ourselves in a position to take the $100,000 that we saved and put that into our investments as well, put that into property as well, if we keep track of that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So listen, let me ask you, is that $100,000, is that looking better in your portfolio or in the bank's portfolio?
Mine.
Of course. So this is what the ICE BRRRR method is all about.